Once they are inside, Vince, the head of the Silver Rabbits, welcomes Orun and acknowledges having already heard of him. Orun asks to hear the details of the teaching expedition, and Selma explains that they will advance from the first floor of the Great Dungeon to the 51st floor in 3 days, stopping at floor 21 on the first day, floor 36 on the second, and pushing onward from there. A flashback from earlier shows Selma informing Vince of Orun's dismissal from the heroes' party, with Vince commenting that his loss severely weakens the so-called heroes. Selma agrees, stating that Orun's support magic elevated the party far beyond its natural limits. Although his spells lack raw power, his casting speed is extraordinary, at least 4 times faster than hers. She adds that he uses original spells, excels at battlefield analysis, anticipates enemy actions, and applies support with perfect timing, all hallmarks of a truly skilled enchanter. Without him, the hero's party will significantly weaken, increasing the Silver Rabbit's chances of reclaiming the top rank. Back in the present, Orun is briefed that the expedition consists of 10 rookie parties and 5 escort units, including Orun and Selma. The rookies will rotate handling normal monsters, while the escorts intervene only in unusual situations. Orun questions why there are only 5 escorts, arguing that such an aggressive schedule would normally warrant more A-rank support. Selma hesitates, then explains that the pressure is intentional to accelerate the rookies' growth. Orun senses this is not the full truth and realizes the expedition's success is more important than they admit, but accepts that he is not meant to know everything and agrees to help. Vince offers him 2 gold coins up front and 10 more upon completion, an amount equal to a year's living expenses. Orun hesitates, but Selma bluntly states that this reflects how highly they value him, ending the discussion. Though surprised, Orun feels encouraged by their trust and resolves to give his full effort. The next day, the guild gathers at the Great Dungeon entrance. Selma and Sophia greet Orun, and he notices Sophia wearing a different outfit. Assuming it is a rookie uniform, he casually compliments her, leaving her flustered and delighted, while Selma reacts in quiet horror at her sister's visible happiness. Selma defensively accuses Orun of being too skilled at flattering women and asks if he has a girlfriend. He denies it, explaining that living with multiple women in the hero's party made him comfortable speaking naturally. Selma somewhat accepts this explanation. Sophia asks where Orun is staying, and he replies that he is currently at an inn but needs a permanent place. Selma sharply questions Sophia's intentions, causing her to panic and deny any interest, claiming she was only curious. Selma calms down and asks why Orun is standing apart from the group. He explains that, as an outsider, he does not want to make the rookies nervous. Selma says the rookies already look tense and his presence may actually help. She asks Orun to follow her and sends Sophia back to her party. She then introduces him to the other 3 escorts, assuring them he is reliable. Orun grows uneasy and asks her not to raise expectations too high, but she dismisses his concern with a smile. Orun introduces himself as a frontline attacker, followed by the others, Anthem, a defender, Bernard, also a defender, and Kathy, a healer. Orun observes that the escort team now has a perfect balance of attackers, defenders, a healer, and an enchanter, and wonders if he had not participated, someone would have been forced to take on multiple roles. This thought deepens his unease, reinforcing his sense that something about the expedition is not quite right. Selma notices the doubt on his face and, for a moment, recalls her earlier conversation with Vince. He had acknowledged how painful it was to lose such a powerful ace, but reminded her that Orun was meant to serve as an enchanter like herself. For the sake of party balance, he could not be placed in the first group, a fact she had already understood. She cannot help feeling that nothing has changed since last year, that they are still stuck and unable to reclaim what they lost. That is why she turned to Orun in the first place. Yet he chose to fight as a swordsman instead. If he cannot function properly as a frontline attacker, then everything may fall apart from what she had planned. Orun notices the concern on her face, but she quickly regains her composure and announces that they face 3 grueling days ahead and leads him to meet the rookies. Addressing the assembled recruits, Selma declares the start of their descent to the 51st floor of the Great Dungeon. Noting the stiff expressions of rookies, she asks if they are afraid of reaching the middle floor so soon. Without waiting for a response, she reassures them that they have nothing to fear, explaining that she has brought an exceptionally powerful helper in case anything goes wrong. She introduces Orun by name and states that he has reached the 94th floor, a depth even they have not conquered. The revelation shocks Orun and sends whispers of awe through the rookies. Selma adds that anyone aiming to explore the dungeon should already know who he is, since he was a member of the hero's party and understands the great dungeon better than any of them. The rookies are instantly energized, while Orun pales at the sudden attention, having never expected his past to be revealed so openly. Selma, however, feels no regret, knowing her words have successfully motivated the rookies. She orders everyone to remain on standby and moves off to conduct final checks with the other escorts. Orun tells her that she may have exaggerated during her speech. Selma brushes this off, pointing out that he truly did reach the 94th floor, and explains that part of their role is helping the rookies steady themselves and focus on what lies ahead. Orun cannot argue, though he feels uneasy, remembering that he only accepted the hero title to help the old man's shop, and hoping this attention will not cause trouble later. Selma then assigns Orun to escort Group 10, calling them her most promising rookies and explaining that, if they learn to function properly as a party, they should have no trouble reaching the middle floors. Orun accepts, though he privately questions whether it is wise to entrust the most promising rookies to an outsider like himself. Upon meeting Group 10, Orun immediately notices that Sophia is among them, but the party has only 3 members. Assuming someone is late, he asks about it, only to learn that this is the full group. 3-person rookie parties are rare due to the increased risk, and one of the boys explains confidently that they operate as a trio because no one else can keep up with them. The confidence surprises Orun and signals how highly the clan values them, though he worries that such self-assurance at their age could lead to problems. Orun asks them to introduce themselves. The boy steps forward first and introduces himself as Logan, the leader and an enchanter. He boldly claims that he will one day surpass Selma. Orun silently acknowledges his audacity and lets the next member speak. The girl introduces herself as Caroline, a defender. Noticing she lacks armor, Orun asks whether she plans to equip it inside the dungeon. Disappointed, Caroline explains that she is a defender who uses neither armor nor shield. Orun assumes she relies on dodging rather than blocking, which she confirms. Orun warns her that a dodge-based defender requires extensive combat experience, but Logan interrupts, saying the clan already tried to warn her, and she ignored them. Caroline fires back that Logan also ignores his instructors, which Logan dismisses by claiming he does not need to listen because he is that good. Sophia attempts to stop their argument, but Orun already recognizes Logan and Caroline as troublemakers. Even so, Sophia introduces herself as a rear attacker and caster, and Orun finds that her presence calms him more than he expected. The expedition begins, and they enter the dungeon. Caroline asks why a former member of the hero's party is taking part and wonders if this means the Silver Rabbits no longer see the heroes as rivals. Orun asks if she listened to Selma's speech and reminds her that he is only a former member. Caroline presses further, calling his departure from such a celebrated party a waste. Though her curiosity is not malicious, Orun grows weary and firmly tells her that it is none of her business. She drops the topic and instead asks whether he and Sophia know each other. Orun confirms it, and Caroline mentions that Sophia said someone incredible would be accompanying them. Nervous, Sophia admits that Orun is the person she meant, explaining that he saved her life, that he is strong, and that her sister assured her there was nothing to worry about if he was present. Soon, monsters begin to appear, but Orun's trap spells activate flawlessly, eliminating threats without slowing the group. Because the traps are hard to detect before triggering, the party avoids unnecessary fights, including enemies approaching from behind. Orun continues placing traps to conserve both time and stamina, and by the time they reach the 20th floor, he has closely observed the rookies and concludes that they should be able to complete the teaching expedition without serious difficulty. Also, his assessment of Logan improves, as despite his arrogance, his skill as an enchanter is genuine, and he could perform well in an A-rank party if he maintains it. However, his poor leadership and unclear instructions are serious weaknesses, though Orun believes experience will fix them. Caroline has the expected speed of a dodge-type defender, but Orun sees 2 problems. She charges enemies too recklessly and relies on dual daggers that may lack enough power for such a small party. Sophia stands out less than the others, but already exceeds average rookie level. Though cautious, she has no major flaws and shows strong future potential. After the other escort groups defeat the 20th floor boss, the expedition proceeds to the 21st floor as planned. Selma has everyone register their progress on their guild cards and ends the day. Outside the dungeon, she asks Orun if he enjoyed escorting, and he answers honestly that Group 10 has great potential, but is not yet cohesive, adding that Caroline in particular concerns him. Selma laughs awkwardly and remarks that Caroline has improved greatly, which only makes Orun wonder how bad she was before, and they part for the night. The next morning at the inn, Orun opens the newspaper and freezes upon seeing Oliver featured on the front page, alongside news that the hero's party has already recruited a new enchanter, making his removal public. He slams the paper down, bitterly muttering that they do not understand how deeply this hurts, and wishing they had at least waited until the teaching expedition ended. Thinking of the rookies, he realizes with dread that their perception of him could change if they read it. Unable to undo it, he leaves the inn early for the meeting point. While walking through the city, a familiar voice calls his name. He turns to see Luna, his ex-colleague from the hero's party. She approaches and greets him, saying it has been a long time. He recalls that even as others grew distant, Luna always treated him the same. She had been away on an errand when he was expelled, and Orun knows that if she had been present that day, events might have unfolded differently. He asks her what she wants, and Luna unexpectedly asks him to return to the hero's party, saying they need his strength. Though surprised, Orun admits he expected this from her, knowing how highly she regards him. He responds that he does not believe the rest of the party feels the same way, especially after the newspaper article. Luna admits she has not seen it and says she is asking on her own initiative, promising to persuade the others if he comes back. Her sincerity makes it clear she truly intends to bring him back, but Orun knows it is no longer possible. He tells her that after what has been published in the article, returning is no longer an option, nor something he wants. Luna apologizes softly, unaware of what had been written, yet still takes his hands and reminds him of the promise they made to clear the great dungeon together. The words cut deeply, and Orun sharply pulls away, saying the promise was made with Oliver, and since Oliver cast him out, it can never be fulfilled. Luna falls silent, unable to reply. Orun apologizes and walks away without looking back, leaving her standing alone. Deep down, he wishes the three of them could have remained as they once were and that their childhood promise could still be kept. But he knows with certainty that there is no path back to that past.
And that is it for today. If you enjoyed this recap, please subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and feel free to write whatever you want in the comments section. Thank you for watching.